Friday. We've got Mark Really Gangsta with us here today.
Yes.
Tango and all. Guys, wins and losses Friday. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about what worked, what didn't, what flopped, and what we learned.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Jeez, I'm battling with the dog as the thing's going on. She's biting something, and I'm like, loss. It was a loss because now she's biting it, and I can't leave my camera. I tell you, loss. All right, so let's dig in here, gent. So, who wants to start? Who wants to share their wins and losses for yet another week? And you know what? I can't believe, like, last week of January, like, holy crap!
Yeah,
man.
what happened? Where'd January go? Morning.
All right. I'm
Where
already
did
planning for
January
Christmas.
go?
That's it. I'm
You're already
thinking about
planning
doing
for
some
Christmas
shopping,
this year.
which actually, to be fair, with the supply chain issues, doing your Christmas shopping now is probably smart thinking, right?
Well, if you really want to get some good Christmas shopping, just get a boat and be a pirate and go off the shore of LA. You get everything and anything you want, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like Pirates Haven.
It's not the worst thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? By the time the Christmas trees come off the boat, it'll be ready to sell them again for Christmas. So it's all good, right? Right. So, here's okay. So wins and losses. So, this week, full transparency, man, I can't get snowmobiling out of my head. There's been a couple of tweaks in my sled and my son's sled that I've been trying to get fixed. And complete transparency, like, I don't think I made more than 15 prospecting calls or emails this week. I've been so consumed. And for me, that is going to be one thing that I need to start working on. I got, for all of you who don't know, we got a little gentleman's bet going with Mr. Jeff Dickinson, and he's throwing trash out there all the time at me on DMs and stuff, man. And I know we've gone back and forth. We've gone back and forth live, but 2 more weeks of that and consider it a write-off because that man's a beast and he just keeps pushing. But it's funny. Do you guys ever have that where something in your life just seems to consume every waking second? That like don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
All my scheduled meetings I delivered, right? Like and it was like this, this switch turns and you're like, you deliver. But it's like now I'm looking at next week's schedule. So I wake up this morning, I'm looking at next week's schedule, like I typically have 8 to 10 meetings. Like I got 3. And because I didn't prospect this week for next week and I'm just, part of me is saying, okay, Dan, take today and just get the shit done. Like get it done so it moves out of the way and it it parts the waters for me to get forward. But then I've got stuff today. So like we have our Inception Q&A calls and yesterday had an awesome experience where I got on a couple of phone calls with some students because that's part of what I want to do now is really get on the calls with students and help them show how stacking the strategies really impacts the call. Great deal. Got the student an opportunity to just as you're going down, Dan. Had a great opportunity for the students to like build that business. We found probably 5 different faucets of business that they weren't getting. Where when we get off the call, it's like now they got it, and we just have to put together a proposal for it. But it's funny because you do that, and you're like, okay, I do that. Why am I not doing that for me? Like, and not that it's a greed thing. It's like, you get on a call, and it's as simple as, hey, can we get on a call to discuss this? Yes or no? Hey, can we get on a call to discuss this? Yes or no? And it's that gap that for me, that's going to be the next 30 days is as I'm really going to plug that gap, and of course, I don't know about you guys, but I keep giving myself the excuse, well, you're going away February 6th to the 12th and you're doing like 400, 500K a day. And your sled needs to be mint or else you're going to break down on the side of the trail. Now you're 7 hours north. You spent all this money on hotel. You've done, and so these thoughts are fucking with my mind. And it's like nothing is, unless it's scheduled, it's not getting done. And I actually, this morning I'm going through my agenda and I'm like, man, I am so far behind on things. It's just the little things that make the difference, right? In all of our careers, it's the little things. It's like, even, DJ and I, we were talking for now days about an exit video, how we have the intro video for this show. We're talking an exit video. So I'm sitting here again this morning and I'm going through like a lot of my different ideas for exit videos. And then again, complete transparency. Before I know it, I'm on the Ski-Doo forum, Do Talk, trying to see if anyone answered my question about my P0136 error code. And I'm like, Dan, like, and it's just kind of like, I'm just like, oh yeah, okay.
Sounds like, I mean, what do you like with admin? Because it sounds like there's either you're really pissed off and bored with admin, or
I hate admin.
There's some kind of like ADD tendencies in there. I mean, I'm exactly the same. Like, I find myself like, I can immerse myself in something, then before I know it, I'm doing something completely different, and I have no clue how that transition happened. Mm-hmm. Like, if somebody said, "I'll give you $1 million to recall any second of the day," I'd be like, "Shit, I think I had breakfast. I don't know. I know I got up because I'm here. That's about it, But
my wife and I did that last night. We were saying, "What did we have for dinner yesterday?" And I'm like, "Tacos." She's like, "No, that was the day before." I go, "Chicken." She goes, "No, that was the day before that." I'm like, "I
don't know." Didn't eat. Kids didn't eat. Nobody ate.
No, you're just so focused one other direction. It's
But that right. to Mark's point, that ADD, that admin, it is my kryptonite. Admin, like I literally have to, as something comes in, I literally have to push print. And I went to my accountant and I said, "Listen, what I want to do is I just want to hand you an envelope every month. There's going to be no rhyme or reason. Like, you're going to have grocery bills in there. Just throw out what doesn't work for the company and issue what does. I have full faith in you." And it's probably really bad to say that, but like, nah, I'm just like, it was, I remember when I was a business partner with two other guys in a brokerage, right? In 2005, we opened. In 2007, we were doing about 37 million in sales. And my accounting was so messed up. It cost me close to $3,000 for the accountant to make sense of it. And when he made sense of it, it was like a $25,000 bill to the government. I'm like, "Well, how did that happen?" He's like, "Dude, do you realize?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." He goes, "You're an owner of a company. You this is on you. You have to realize it." And it was a waking moment for me, right? When it comes to that. So that stuff I pay attention to, but it's like, right, the day to day, So if I've realized, and it's like anything, right? Like, we look at this podcast, we look at this recording, it has to fit into the day, or else eventually it will go away, right? Exactly. And that rhyme for me is crazy. It has to fit into my day, or it will go away. And that is something I think as salespeople we have to live by, because if we don't, one of my mentors said, "I want to start a podcast," and he's a CEO, $100 million company, pretty big company from a digital marketing aspect. And he says, "I knew that if I did a daily podcast, it had to be part of my schedule." So he goes, "I decided to call it marketing from my car." So he had a 15-20 minute drive to work every morning. So he got in his car, he hit record, and he recorded his podcast as he drove on his thoughts about building his company. He got to his office, he file transferred it to his marketing guy. His marketing guy put it up. He goes, "Because if I didn't do that, I would be done. If I can't fit it in my day, it has to go away." And that for me is everything. Like, even when DJ and I were talking about this show originally, it was like, listen, we have to schedule it. We have to make sure that we schedule everything around it, because it will like, if you jump times, your audience will never know when to get a hold of you and never know when to expect it. Like, exactly. I don't know about you guys, but for me, that expectation, like, every night, I don't know, it might sound crazy, but every night I wait for the factory direct email to come out with all the specials on like all their electronics and stuff. It's not like I buy anything. I might buy from them 3 times a year. I just like to look at it. Like every Thursday we get the Canadian Tire catalog. And that is like, as soon as I'm almost like by the window, looking out the window, waiting for, I'm like that squirrel in Ice Age, where he's like, the squirrel, and he's like, with the acorn, he's like, "Oh yeah, okay." And I'm waiting for them to drop the flyer. And it's like,
oh, that's funny.
And I just sift through the flyer. And it's, again, for all of you guys in Ontario, Princess Auto, when that book comes out, it's like, that is like, the reading material when you're in your 5 minutes of quiet time, if you guys know what I'm saying, you know what I mean? And you're looking at the Princess Auto, and it's all sorts of shop equipment 99.999% of it I'll never need. But it's like, ooh, like a compressor the size of my
But
fridge
it looks cool as
for
hell.
$600. Yeah. And it's like,
This
oh,
stuff
that's
is
a
so
cool
cool.
tool. Yeah. And then you start thinking, can I use that for something? It's a compressor the
Dude,
size of my fridge.
Where can I use
Where
this?
can I
Oh,
use
this would be
that?
I mean,
awesome.
look around your room right now, right? Is there anything that you have that you actually need? No, it's mostly
Yeah.
what you want, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, that Canadian Tire catalog, if you could just send me that, because I've got an 8-year-old who really struggles to sleep, and I've got a feeling that's gonna like just knock him straight out. That sounds
Oh,
like a
no.
really
He'll be all over
riveting
you. Be like,
read.
Dad, I want that drill. I want that drill press.
Well,
That
if
table
it's
saw is
thick
really
enough,
cool,
I can
Dad.
just hit him with it then.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a different story then. So
Uh,
that for me is a loss, but also it's a win because I've really identified that piece. And so part of me is now in every manner when I start a project. I look at the summer with my pool project. That consumed me every waking moment that I wasn't working, consumed me. Um, for me, I tend to shorten things. So a project that might take a week, I could bang it out in 3.5 days. No worries. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but I'm like, I can bang that bad boy out
all
in
the
no
time.
time, man. Yeah. And it's like you can't, right? So it's
Yeah.
for me, that's going to be
Well,
the biggest
you
thing that I'm
you
going to be
tied
working
right into my loss for the week. I mean, that was, and it's so funny. It's how we really are aligned. But my loss for the week was, I think I'm overextending myself a little bit, and so this week
on.
was like, oh man, hold on, I got to be here, but I got to do this. Oh no, I got to do
Hmm.
that. Oh
Yeah.
man, and that's the win.
Yeah. That's the win right here.
That's
This
the
this
win.
is this is Stella, and this is our new puppy. And
Stella.
Hey,
she's been quite the she's been quite the tool this week, but that's
The
okay.
bundle
She's
of
9
joy,
weeks
right?
old. She's allowed to be a tool. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, so she'll just sit in my lap for a bit. So go on. Sorry, DJ. Go
No,
on.
no, I was just you tied right into it. It was just overextending myself. So the
Mhm.
win, kind of like you, was just realizing there's probably some things I need to cut off my list to really just free up and really stay focused on the main goal. So yeah.
And that's the thing, right? I think we all do that.
Mhm.
It's like, I remember one of my mentors saying, the best thing you can do is say no. And I'm like, no, 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 I can't say no.
I
Like,
can't say no. Yes,
like,
exactly.
and if you look at the missions, right? It's like, does this correspond with the mission? Yes, right? Like, I have so many people saying, can you get on a call with me? Can you do this? Can you do this? And I'm like, yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. Yes, yes.
Sure.
And I mean,
Yeah. Sure. What
I
did I
was on
just
the
do?
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was on the phone with a student, and last week or the week before, I can't remember. And I was like, okay, for our call, you got to have this, and this ready. And we start talking, and they didn't have it ready.
Mm.
And for the first time ever, because normally I would say, okay, let's do it. For the first time ever, I'm like, okay, listen, we're going to cut this short because you only have so many one-on-one calls when you register. I don't want to use your time to talk about crap. I want to make sure it's effective. And then they started getting into almost like an excuse story. And for the first time ever, and I meant it in the nicest way possible, I was like, okay, stop giving me excuses. Just get it done, and then let's do it again. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. That probably came across the wrong way. And that's when I explained the time on the calls and how I want them to be effective, because the course costs a lot of money. So I don't want to, for lack of a better term, I just don't want to have chit chat. Like, I want to make sure our calls are impactful. So I was like, okay, get me this stuff,
Well,
email it to me, and let's go.
you're making a valid point, especially to any brokers out there who are still working in an office or somewhere. This, what he's talking about is that, that it seems like nothing, the 5-minute chat here at the wherever, or somebody comes into your office and the 10 minutes here, but it starts to really pull from the time you really need to focus on your goal. So. And I see Gary. Good morning, Gary. I don't have the ability to throw that out, but now, Mark, what about wins and losses for you this week? How'd your week go?
I'm alive, so that's a good week, right?
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
I'd
yeah.
take
Hey,
I'd take that as a
sometimes
win.
you got to count that as the win. I mean, that's listen.
Look, every morning when I wake up, like I'm if I have a heartbeat and my laptop fires up, then I've got a job and
Still
I'm
got a
alive.
chance
So I'll
too,
take that
right?
as a win. Yeah. But like, so wins and losses, I mean, for me, it's such a broad, like I could put wins in so many different categories. So a couple of new clients this week, which is fantastic. One particular client that we onboarded over the Christmas period. We usually focused on businesses, US companies, Canadian companies, Mexican companies. And now and again, we'll touch individuals. And so there was a British woman. She's moving back to the UK. So she had like a house sale funds and investment funds that they need to move back. So we did that for her and smashed the price that she was going to get from her bank. So she got a lot more pounds into the UK, which is awesome. But it was more the fact that we really looked after her. I'll be honest, like she's like, you guys bent over backwards, and we're like, well, we didn't really. That's just kind of what we do, So, but I appreciate you thinking that that's what we've done. But
it always sounds good to hear that, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it does, right? But the great thing was, she's just knocking out WhatsApp messages and all kinds of stuff. She's part of like a number of expat forums. Like if you're moving somewhere or if you got investment that you need to ping somewhere, go talk to these guys. So I'll take that as a win. She didn't have to do that.
That's a huge win. Your standard operating procedures are what people see as going above and beyond. Like think about that. That is one of the biggest wins you can ever have, because that just showed you how far ahead of every other company that does what you do.
Exactly.
And I appreciate you saying that. And but it's, for me, it's just normal day to day. It's just that's what we do. We're committed to our work. We're committed to our families.
98% of the companies that do what you do it shit. Sorry,
they do.
It's exactly what salespeople. 98% of salespeople suck. They're after the commission, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. It's just they're after a commission. They're going in, like you talk to any traffic manager and they say 98 to 99% of the people that call me, like immediately, I know they're after my money. They're looking for a commission, and that's it. Like you know what I mean? It's just like Gary's saying, always over deliver. And when you're over delivering is your SOP, like your standard operating procedure is over delivering. Brother, imagine if you go into your office and say, okay, team, how do we over deliver?
Yeah.
Now you're just like now you got nitrous in your vehicle when everybody else is driving a Chevette. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gone. It's like Maserati against the 60cc scooter. And your scooter ain't going nowhere, brother. You could beat it in half a gear on a Maserati, but now you're in fifth gear doing 400 mile an hour. And the scooter's behind you, like, like, dude, you just separated yourself from everyone, man.
Yeah. Well, I again appreciate exactly everything that you're saying there. I'm going to put down my key win this week. My son, my 8-year-old, and I, we had an awesome 30 minutes worth of Nerf war here in the basement yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I hate saying to him when he comes up, he's like, can we do this? Can we do that? And I know I've got a meeting coming up, and I hate saying to him, dude, I've got a meeting. Because he's 8 and he doesn't get that work is important. Like he always comes first, but he doesn't know that because I'm often saying, dude, can you just bear with me for 5 minutes? And then I had I had a spare 30 minutes. Like I had time in between meetings. You can fill that with admin and you can fill that with so much stuff. But I thought, you know what, fuck it. So I just called him over and I said, dude, are we doing this or what? And then the next thing I know, we're just
that's how it always gets started. I like it.
Oh my God. Exactly. Yeah. So in my office here, like I did a little bit of tidy up this morning, but there's just awesome. Bullets. There's just Nerf stuff everywhere. There's guns over there. There's bits of Nerf bullets because one of our puppies decided that looks like food, so I'm going to try and chow down on that. So I know I'm going to be seeing little speckles of blue poo out in the yard at some stage.
For sure.
With little suckers on the end
so
of it.
You got to your meeting going,
exactly.
What happened?
Well, just little red dots on your face.
Just
where
a
you
little
be
light
like,
workout
peppered.
before the meeting, guys. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
A Nerf bullet comes hitting you right in the temple as you're talking. You're like,
Hey, we're
sorry
done.
about
We're
that.
done.
exactly. Just like flying across the screen, and usually like just coming in from the side, his little head pops in, and he's like, and then he'll just kind of like fade out again. He's he's completely nonplussed
I
with
love
it.
it.
But so that's it's I'd say it's been a pretty good week. Like, we got through it. Like I say, we picked up a couple of new clients, but being for me, like, it's the family win is the win. Like, at the end of the day, because as
That's
much
our
as
why. For anybody who has
exactly,
family and
right?
kids, I mean, that's our why.
Anyone who's doing pretty much anything, and I might be like putting everybody in the same bucket here, but like yes, you are committed to your clients, you're committed to the cause, but you're really doing it for yourself and for your family at the end of the day, right? I mean, we're not doing it for free. And if somebody said to me, "Oh yeah, but what about, I don't know, like a minister, for example? They're traveling the world and they're spreading love and all this kind of stuff." I'm like, yeah, they're doing that for next to nothing, and they're probably doing it for the good of other people. No, there's no probably. They're definitely doing it for the good of other people. But there's also
But
a
those
little
other
bit of like
people, I
that
think,
makes you feel good.
Yeah,
too,
they're getting
right?
so
So,
doing stuff for other people. I mean, you get the biggest reward from that, really.
oh yeah,
So,
well, you would always do more for others than you do for yourself. Like,
oh,
you think about this for a second. How many people eat like crap but feed their animals the best food?
right?
They'll feed their animals. They won't feed their animals human food. They won't do anything, but they'll smoke a pack a day. Like, you
Mm,
always do more for other people than you do for yourself. You will always do that. And that's why one of the questions I ask myself every morning is, who needs me on my A game?
right.
Like, who needs you on your A game today?
that is such a great
And it's
question to
typical.
ask. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's one of these things where it's like, you look, you talk about the priest, right? Every single person in any congregation is their children. And those are the best ones, because, like, I remember we would go to church, and Tim, like, one of the most amazing guys on the planet, he would always relate it back to life. So when he was talking about religion and stuff and the Bible and blah, 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 it would relate it back to life. And I don't want to get religious on the show, but he would relate it back to life, because I think we need that relation. And then we can actually take what it is and make it something for us, right? Because and that's one of the challenges. That's one of the challenges when it comes to like religion or politics. Everybody has their own perspective, and their perspective is in fact their reality.
Yep.
You look at the convoy heading towards Ottawa, right? Millions are like, I mean, there's gas stations
It's insane.
that have no fuel because of the convoy, because they're holding it up, or these drivers are saying, no, I'm going, right? And then you look at there's an article today at CTV News where they're saying, not all truckers are wanting this. Like, and not only that, it's turning into something that it was never the original idea was supposed to be. And it's turning into like a real political left or right movement. And it's a shame. But if you really look at that and you talk about your why, each of those parties have their why, and that is real to them. So who is anyone to say you're wrong? No, that is your perspective. I might not agree with it, but that is your perspective. It's like sales. We go in as salespeople, all three of us, we know our product or service can help the person we're calling. I don't care who they are. I don't care what their process is. I know I can help. If their perspective is I can never help,
then you're never going to be able to help. It doesn't matter what you do. Yeah.
Right. And so perspective is key. And Mark, I think just when you said, but you know what, guys, my biggest win is I had 30 minutes with my son. Now, think about that for a second. You're working 50 hours a week, brother? 55?
Yeah.
More. Okay. And 30 minutes.
Just to jump in there, I don't have to. I choose to, which is shocking. I need to I need to have more discipline. But sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. But again, I don't listen. Now you know what you need to work on for the next couple of weeks. When you come back in 3 weeks, we want you to talk about how you worked on that. So there's your challenge for the next 3 weeks, brother. Okay.
All right.
But where I'm coming from and where I'm just like, I melted inside was where you're 50, 60 hours a week working. 30 minutes is your biggest win. That is that, and that to me, my perspective is gold.
Yeah.
You're gonna have people out here that watch this or listen to this on the podcast and like 30 minutes. Come on, dude, you could have put an hour and a half, but you know what? 30 minutes is damn good.
Exactly. Brian Byro, I love
Fully present.
It's not how long. If you're spending 12 hours with your kids, but you're sitting there on your phone and you're doing other things, that's not quality. 30 minutes,
exactly.
but you're full go. I mean, that's and Mark, I'm glad you brought that up. Probably my biggest win was for this week. I don't know what started this, but my son, my 5-year-old, literally, I don't know if it's because he hears the show or what, but I don't think we've ever said teamwork makes the dream work, but he literally all week, that's all he's been saying. I don't even know where it came from, but he literally has just, hey, Dad, teamwork makes the dream work. I'm like, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
It's right, man.
That is freaking
It's absolutely
cool.
right.
I'm like, what? So, yeah.
You know, it must have been Maggie that taught him that.
I guarantee it's not me.
Maggie, shout out. You know,
Yeah,
DJ smiles all the time. Maggie's got the good quotes. That's where all DJ's quotes come from. No,
So
she's
just
the mastermind. Listen, and she can. By the way, a little sneak peek. When we end the show, this is all Maggie's idea. If it blows up, it's because she knows that I'm not really that person.
Brother. Bad bleeding. That's like an open loop that just set her up there, dude. Come on.
I'm kidding.
I want to jump in as well, just sticking with the family theme. I know this is like steering away from logistics, supply chain, but I've been super lucky to be like having worked from home for probably about the last almost 7 years. And I like prior to that, I'd only ever worked in an office, and coming from London, it was like a 2-hour commute in one direction, 2-hour commute in the other, like out with clients doing whatever.
From the office, brother?
Yeah. It was like hour and a half one way, 2 hours the other, just because of the way the trains worked. And so I wasn't getting home before 7 o'clock, and we had a 1-year-old then. And I'm like, that's not building a relationship. So I was then fortunate when we moved to the US, I started working for a bank that allowed me to like manage a team regionally, nationally, but based at home. And that really then allowed me to develop a relationship with my son and even with my wife to a certain degree, right? But it was breakfast every day. I was traveling a ton, but at least when I wasn't traveling, we had breakfast together, which we never did before in the UK. We always had dinner together if I wasn't traveling, right? And that for me was like, you just can't put a value on that, right? There are people I know that they would want to spend time with their kids, and they're literally spending 20 hours a day either working and commuting, you know, or at least they're away from the desk, and then they're at home for 4 hours, and all they're doing is really kind of like sleeping before they turn around and then head on back to the investment bank.
Mm-hmm.
And they're earning a ton of money, and that's awesome. But there's no point in doing that if you're not going to have the time with your family, and you're going to keel over with a heart attack at 45. So, you know, it's finding that balance and, you know, and finding that time. And one of the things that we try and do is like make sure that absolutely no electronic gadgets in and around the dinner, the dining table, right? Let's just sit, let's have a chat, let's debrief, let's do what we do. And what we always do is have a rose and thorn. So you got to talk about your rose for the day. Like what made you smile, and what was your thorn? What was the bad thing for the day? And then maybe we can talk about how we can get over that. And then we always follow up with an appreciation statement. So like I have to say something that I appreciate about my wife for that day and my son, and then like we all go around the table. It's just like, you know, 5-minute exercise,
I love that.
but just kind of like keeps it, you know, just keeps the conversation going, and just brings it home, right? Keeps it real. That again, family for me anyway, and I think for many, and certainly for you guys, is super, super important, right? And again, we do what we do because we're trying to, you know, support our clients, but by and large, we're trying to get those, you know, dollar bills so that we can pay for food and, you know, send our kids to very expensive private schools. And
well, especially now with the like 27% inflation up here,
it's insane, right?
It's insane. But yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. Those again, those times, right? We try every night dinner. Every night, and before my daughter left for college, it was every night one of us cooked dinner. So it wasn't just like dad cooking dinner all the time or mom cooking dinner. Brendan and Jessica would cook dinner one night.
Nice.
and they experienced, tried new things. Sometimes they would go on like Pinterest and print recipes, or, okay, I need bacon, I need chicken, and do like stuffed chicken and da-da. And our dinners turn into like an hour and a half talking just about day and what happened. And, it's some of the best moments you'll ever have. And then everyone cleans up, and within 5 minutes, the room's cleaned up and we're good to go. And even with Jessica off at school, we're still doing it. And when she comes home, it's like Sunday dinner is one of the most important times.
Yeah.
We'll go out, we'll get big steaks, we'll get like a beef tenderloin, like we'll do a bigger spread for dinner. Sometimes their boyfriends and girlfriends are here, so there's 6 of us at the dinner table, and it's laughs, it's jokes, it's harassing each other. It's all of the when you have a 20 and 22-year-old, it's a lot of harassment over a lot of different things. But it's I harass the boyfriend and girlfriend all the time because I'm sarcastic like that.
I can only imagine.
Oh yeah, brother. Oh, buddy. Yeah, you should hear some of it. You should hear some. I won't even get into it now because I'll get crucified. But you should hear some of the things I say, because it's like, so when the kids were growing up, right? I would say things, and God bless my soulmate, my love, Christine. She'd say, he's just joking, right? That's just what he does. He's just joking. And the kids, like, my daughter would have friends over, and I'd open the door, and they'd be like, hi, Mr. Deegan. I'm like, hi, did you bring $5? And they're like, and they're like 6-year-olds, right? And they're like, and I go, you need $5 to come in because you're gonna eat my food, right? And I'm standing there, and they're literally standing outside, and I'm like, come on. And they're like, and one of my daughter's friends shows up one day. She rings the doorbell. I open it up. She goes, here you go. She hands me 2 toonies and a loonie. The next time she comes, she brings me sweet chili heat Doritos because she knows they were my favorite chips.
Oh, she's smart. That's a salesperson. Is she in training?
And just so everyone knows, I did not take the $5 from the 6-year-old. Okay, the chips I did take. I did. I will.
That's how Dan started the whole. Listen, don't believe him. That's how he started the whole brokerage. It was that $5 he was getting from.
That was my cash flow. That was what I injected in the company. Yeah. All right. So DJ, before you take us out of here, DJ, again, Mark, that win, brother, awesome, man. Way to go. And DJ too. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. Now let's give us this out that is going to put Maggie on the map.
Before we go out, so guys, I will give you a heads up. Next week, we really didn't talk about this at all this week, and then I was looking at our schedule for next week.
Killer.
Let me just tell you guys, holy cow. It's going to be fun. I'm just going to leave it there so I can leave with a little more excitement. But if you do catch this after we're live, like and subscribe down below on YouTube. Follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube if you want to see us. And usually we end this, and I'm glad we ended with jokes because we were a little bit serious, although Maggie would have loved that. I'm going to end today and maybe Friday, instead of with quotes, with a joke. I used to, one of my little things was to send little dad jokes in my email. And that was what kind of people started to wait and want from me and wait for me. I had customers that had no clue who I was, never even talked to me, but they waited for my jokes. So, not my jokes. I'm not funny. That's why I said I'm not really good for this, but I will give it to you anyway. So first, what do you call a fake noodle?
I don't know.
Dan? An impasta. Come on, guys. Okay, not good.
Those
not
are
good.
Total dad jokes.
Want to hear jokes about construction?
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. All right. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that was it? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I'm still working on it. I get it. Never mind.
Oh, there you go.
It feels like my
the truck drivers out there appreciate that joke. All right, last one. Ordered an egg and a chicken on Amazon. I'll let you know.
Which came first? That's a good one. I like that. No.
Jeff, come on.
Don't give up your day job, DJ.
That
is good.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Go out there, make every call educational, crush your sales, and remember, you're only one sales sequence away from making everything happen. As my good friend Rene Godefroy says, you're only one applied idea away from changing the rest of your life.
Amen.
Have a great weekend, peeps.